So this awesome armor was a reward for completing all the challenges. I thought it was really important to complete them because this should be the last major patch before launch. And, you know, PoE2 is in a great state right now. So let's go over each of the challenges and I'll kind of give you tips for each one. The first one up is the Rune Seeker, and finding 7 runes, like a 7 rune little monolith, was the hardest thing for me. It was actually the last challenge I completed. I did find that you can get them in tier 15 maps or higher. I don't know if that's required, but I know I ran into them more. You can actually get them more likely through expedition because multiple of these little monoliths can show up, increasing your chances of getting the right one. I was hoping I ended up with like a divine one, but you know, annuls are cool too. After that, we have the Hunter Challenge, which is basically just killing like the mini bosses in each part of the campaign. That wasn't too bad. If you need to check, you can go ahead and go into your quest log, and in acts like 1, 2, and 3, you'll see that for the most part, these are the bosses that offer like specialty books that give you a couple extra like skill points. So just kind of remember that and hit them all up. After that, we have the Ascendant, which is completing all these Sunseas. Personally, I absolutely hate it, but there is a workaround. Basically, constantly people are posting in chat, offering, and you can just buy a carry. And you can go from there and just complete everything, get all your points. Then level 90 and the Reliquarian one, I'm going to kind of bundle together because I kind of use the same strategy to get both, which is just running high tier maps with tablets. Make sure to buy those omens that give you back your full HP when you're about to die. So the higher level an area is, the more experience you're going to get off of it, pretty much. So for me, I just hit everything with Elks, including my tablets, get my maps as I could. Then I went ahead and Exalt slammed them, get them up to 6 mods, that way increases the quantity and rarity and basically everything else. And then I corrupt them trying to get tier 16s. If you run them irradiated tablets, it turns to basically area 17s. Then probably the most expensive one is the Artisan thing. They did make a change where Swift allies were not really showing up, so now anytime you use an alloy, you're gonna get that accomplished. The more difficult ones were like, it's not difficult, but it's kind of like tedious. I had to find the right unique to transfer over to use the Exceptional Verisium, and it did change it, not a big deal, and completed the challenge for that. The expensive one is the Celestial Alloy, which has some pretty good effects. They're sitting about 9 div right now, but they are really crucial for a very rare craft, which is getting a additional +1 to spells on wands, which makes these worth a lot of money. They're kind of like best in slot for casters, and like I have a +7 wand here, and I would recommend finding a wand crafting guide to do it more consistently, because I'm sure someone has figured out how to craft these things properly. For me, I was able to get a couple Exalt wand off the market, hit it with that, got lucky, and then I went ahead and desecrated it, and that became my new wand for the rest of the game. Now, the Cartographer one is, I think, the best one of the challenges, because it gives you the best stuff. Basically, once you fill this tree out, you're just getting so many materials, and you're making so much money because of all the bonuses. Now, it might look intimidating to get like 310 or whatever you need for this, but actually, if you kill the Arboreal Divinity, he's gonna let you auto-complete a section of his area, which rewards you with the Atlas points. He's going to require like 2 fragments to be able to access this fight. You could buy them for about 6 div, or look on your map for like red, basically beams shooting up in the skies, and he'll open it all up. Now there are these little towers though that you need to hit up alongside his area, which I believe are necessary. And basically you ascend up and you fight a tower and you fight a couple of the monsters there. You can run these as normal, like waystones, like you don't need to make them like super hard or anything like that. And yeah, it should be pretty easy. From there goes the real grind. So you have to fight 3 major bosses. I didn't think that the bosses were that hard overall, but you do have to access their storylines to access them. And what that means is, basically, you're going to need to go here to do the Delirium one. I was able to set it up here and go basically back and forth between those areas. And then you have to go through here, which is the Ritual guy. So for the most part, these require you going to that area, like getting access to it, then doing like around 5 different areas. The Abyss one took longer, and then bouncing back and forth between that area and finding the boss that's there and doing that. The Kulamac one wasn't too bad. This is my first time really fighting him, so I don't know like this was before I got all my gear set up. I thought he was fine, but the biggest thing you want to do is when you're fighting him, you need to fight him at full power, which means that you hit everything, and then when you go to like collect the ring, you got to return the finger, and then beat him. He'll have a bit more HP. He didn't really sound that dangerous, but then again, I'm doing like a few million DPS. So next up we have the ritual quest line, which again, you'll do like 5 different areas. You have to go fight the King of the Mist. So you need to go and contribute or use tribute to get an invitation for the king. Then you can go and fight him. He's actually pretty easy, in my opinion. I kind of like insta-phased him, but again, I have lots of damage, so keep that in mind. And then from there, when you kill him, you get his head. You take that head back over to, I believe it's Ife? I don't know how to say her name. But she lets you go ahead and initiate one of the fights where you start fighting the Bardock. And it's a cool fight. This is actually probably the most difficult fight of the bunch. He has a ton of HP and he kind of works in the shadows. I'll be honest, when I fought him I did get a bit of a jump scare. So like he really does come out of the darkness. I think he's like one of the coolest bosses in the game. Yeah, I actually really like this fight a lot, even though I wasn't good at it. Yeah. And then we're going to the Delirium side, which again wasn't too bad. You clear a bunch of areas, and then you basically go to some fight the Simulacrum, which I thought was going to be like much harder. So I did on the Blue Waystone. Keep in mind, when you're doing these things, you don't have to like max out every area you're fighting in. You probably shouldn't actually, but you do probably need like to use tier 14 Waystone, so you have to get to that point. And then like the other storylines, after you do that, you take the quest item over and you fight like a big boss. This one is actually the easiest one, in my opinion. But that's probably because I'm playing Spark and he's in a small area, so, you know, it was fast. It was pretty brutal. So the biggest thing is to realize, like, if you're playing ranged or you're playing totems like I am, you're going to have a much easier time. You're playing melee, well, you're like kind of already in it, right? So I would expect these fights to be a lot harder if you're going to be like in melee range all the time. But yeah, so that's the last boss that you have to fight, and after that you've had all of your challenges completed. It's just like you're done. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. It is a bit of a grind, but it's not that bad. So now that you've completed all your challenges, you're going to get the full armor set, and you're going to get a trophy that you could place in your hideout. There's a few variations on it. I like this one. That's what I went with. So those are all the tips for the challenges. I'll go ahead and go into my character itself so you have an idea what I'm doing. I'm running a very high level Spark into a Spark Totem. These are the gem links. I haven't changed pretty much anything I'm doing since day 2. It's pretty much been the same setup. The one thing that's increased or gotten better is my gear. There are a lot of people playing Spark Totems. Oracle's a big thing. You can transition Shaman into Oracle, but I just think it offers the best start by far. Nothing compares because you get so much extra spirit right off the bat, just from your Sensi. I also got a bit off of course, my really good Scepter, my good Amulet, and you can go ahead and with the Bonded Keystone get this mana reservation efficiency for your spirit reservation efficiency for your gear, and that makes a ton of difference because suddenly your totems only cost like 56, your Archmage reserves less, and you're able to hit those spirit marks a lot easier. So I have 6 totems up all time. A lot of people running totems right now can only manage 4, and yeah, all the rest of my gear is just like mana, energy shield, a lot of cast speed actually, and yeah, it's just super easy. I'd say that once I finished the full Atlas tree, I started making like 2 div every map or so, and it's just been a wild ride since then. I'd say I'd probably invest like, I don't know, 100 div, maybe more into the whole build, and it's just been operating flawlessly. This is the passive tree I'm using. We have weapon set 1 and weapon set 2. Weapon set 1 is like our totem damage stuff. Weapon set 2 is our exposure and curses. We are running the Minor Matter, Eldritch Battery, Ancestral Bond setup. We do have a few new passive points added in just for the recent patch, and yeah, it's just a straightforward tree. We do get like over 50k spark damage per cast, which has been great. We have a 7-second duration, so that ends up being like 7 times 50k, 350k times 6 totems for about 2 million DPS conservatively. And yeah, then you start getting weird stuff at the end. So after you finish everything, the cartography stuff, and you get all these weird bonuses happening up. Sometimes you get, you know, chests that have like 30 idols in them, and fight monsters that have so many modifiers it doesn't even show up on the screen. Like it just says 5 more modifiers. And yeah, that's kind of what it looks like when you're mapping. It's great. Like you make a lot of money and you get a lot of experience and everything, you know, you're able to buy into better gear and just have a time. So yeah, my league is pretty much done. If I'm gonna play anything else, it's gonna be because my friends want to hop in for the, like, you know, later on to the league, or there's some like really interesting build that looks fun. But I beat all the major bosses, I've done all the challenges, and yeah, it's just been a really good time, honestly. PoE2 is in such a great state. PoE1 is my favorite game of all time, and this one is really rivaling it. Honestly, it's just impressive because I played last patch and it didn't come close to what this is. That being said, with all this extra stuff, there's a lot of bugs, so report things as you see it. I hope this video helps you complete your challenges, and if you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.